What's up, everybody? Matt Kajeski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. And today we're talking college basketball props ahead of Saturday's Elite 8 games. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. If you're listening on podcast, please leave a rating and review over there as well. We are brought to you by No House Advantage. That is where we will be looking at these props. They have a first match deposit bonus of $100 when you click the link in the video description below. And a bunch of ways you can take advantage of these player props. They have the Verse the House tool. That is just you making lineups of player props anywhere from 2 to 5. You can 21 extra entry fee if you get all 5 correct. And that is the most competitive rate in the entire industry, better than Prize Picks. And they also have pick'em contests. These are tournament style contests, you versus other people, making lineups of player props on a confidence interval. And they have huge prizes up to $25,000. A lot of times these aren't filling either, which gives you a good chance to take down a bigger prize. And all these are available right now. So click the link in the video description below. Get that $100 first match deposit bonus. All right. Short slate, but we've got some solid props to look at here. Don't normally do this. I'm going to give you the 2 that we have with conviction, and I'm going to give you 2 more options. Ones I think that are a little more narrative based, but you could take advantage of if you want to go for a 4 or 5 like prop to maybe hit one of those big payouts. First one we've got here is Julian Strother over 5.5 rebounds versus UConn. So on paper, not a great rebounding matchup. Both these teams are actually really good at rebounding. Gonzaga is 25th. UConn is 2nd. Strother has a solid rebound rate on the year, so there's nothing really to worry about here. It's at 16.8%. That's actually second highest on the team. It's higher than Anton Watson, which might come as a surprise to some of you guys. And even in the last 3 games, this has remained pretty consistent. Watson has a slightly higher rebound rate, 25.4%, but Strother's still at 23% of the rebounds. And I think this bump is just because Gonzaga plays a tighter rotation when the games are hyper competitive, which is what we should see for them the rest of the way through the tournament and what they've been involved in recently. For example, Strother played 38 minutes against UCLA. In the 2 prior tournament games, he played 34 and 34. And that's what has allowed him to jump up above 23% of the rebounds in the last 3 games. Again, UConn, tough matchup, but at the same time, rebounds are going to be had. This game has a 153.5 total. So we're expecting a lot of possessions. And right now, 5.5 is even below the season average for Strother. So we're going to go over here, even in the more difficult matchup. Before we move on from this game, I'm going to give you an option, one which I think is slightly riskier, but one that you could look at. It's Adama Sonogo overs. I think points fine, rebounds fine, PRA fine. He doesn't quite project as much of a value as Strother, but this is a phenomenal matchup for Sonogo. Similar to Gonzaga, UConn will push him minute-wise in competitive games. Last 3, 24, 27, 25. You have to go back a ways to see Sonogo play like a 30-minute game, but just know in really competitive spots, that is something they will do. Gonzaga is 175th on defense. They're 218th in interior defense, and Drew Timme is one of the worst defenders on the team. If we get even like a 28-minute Sonogo game, he's going over 16.5 points. God forbid we get a 30-minute Sonogo game. This guy could absolutely nuke the slate. So this is one that's volatile. If you were to give him 24 minutes, it would be right around this prop. If you give him 28 to 30 minutes, he's going over this. So risky, but one I think we could look at. Won't make it official, but just wanted to touch on that. The other prop, we have to go to the Florida Atlantic Kansas State game. Vladislav Golden, over 7.5 points. This one is very interesting matchup-wise. Kansas State has a pretty drastic height advantage over FAU, and Vladislav Golden is the only player that really has a ton of size for this team. He's going to be their center, and when we've seen competitive games against taller teams, he plays more minutes. In the first games of the tournament, he only played 18 and 19, but against Tennessee, where he was really needed against like Uros Plavsic on the interior, 28 minutes. For Kansas State, they have a slew of players on the interior with size. You've got Key Johnson, who's kind of playing the 3-4, Naquan Tomlin, David Gesson, Ish Massoud. That's 4 players and deep players on the interior that FAU is going to need to defend. That means Golden's probably just by necessity going to have to play more minutes here. If you look at his stats over the course of the year, he only has an 11% shot rate. Last 3 games, that's relatively consistent here too. But again, 2 of those games at 18 and 19 minutes. We're expecting a spike here with the extra minutes he potentially plays against a larger Kansas State team. So that's one to look at. We'll go over 7.5 points. And the last one I want to talk about, this one is tricky, but Marquise Noel is coming into this game with an injury. Right now, he has a PRA prop of 30.5. That's a lot for a player who's really reliant on assists. He's under 6 feet tall, so rebounds definitely not his game. If you look at him over the course of the year, his shot rate is 22%. That's awesome. Assist rate of 48%. But you're essentially requiring him to get 15 and 15 or 20-10 in some degree, a double-double at the very least for Noel. And he's coming off the best game of his career, but he also sprained his ankle in that game. He himself said he's 85 to 90%. There's a chance for re-aggravation in the game. If that happens, unders coming in. If he's limited and plays limited minutes, unders coming in. If he just plays a subpar game compared to what we saw off a career best game, there's a lot of room for the under here. So not an official play just because the minutes are really tricky with him right now. But if you wanted to add on a 4th or a 5th play, I don't hate Noel unders and really his unders across the board. Points, rebounds, assists. This one just PRA. But that'll do it for us. Let me know in the comment section what you think of these props, if you agree, disagree, what you think about the Noel and Sonogo props in particular, because I'm sure those will be polarizing. You can reach out on Twitter if you'd like. I'm at Matt_Kajeski. Otherwise, we'll be back again tomorrow breaking down the second leg of the Elite 8. Good luck.